I'm here in the kitchen of one of the brand new units at Stagecoach Residences, an affordable housing complex just completed here in the town of Barnstable. The new complexes were dedicated. The ribbon was officially cut this Monday here in Barnstable. We share with you some of the images from that ceremony here on Barnstable Today.
But it means a lot for people in Cape Cod and people in Barnstable because what you're seeing is so much of an effort over a period of years dealing with sensitive environmental issues, making sure it's done correctly, dealing with just the building issues, the financing that changed over that period of time, off and on. It was a very complicated effort because of all those things, but they stuck with it. They made sure, and as you can see, they did it right. This is cited correctly, planned correctly, and I hope that people understand too, some of the people that I work with, that a sliver of money gets leveraged so that it attracts private financing and state financing, and that's good for the economy down here too. It can mean some jobs, and it can mean some people that can work here that are important for the service economy. That's why the Chamber was represented today as well.
In February of 1990, the town of Barnstable deeded 70 Stagecoach residences to Barnstable Housing Authority. 16 years later, Barnstable Housing Authority began its planning for the development of this project in 2006. At that time, Tom Lynch was our executive director, and in 2007, Laura Schufeld joined us as our development coordinator and consultant. 2008, the architectural firm of Brown, Lindquist, Finuccio, and Raber came on board, and attorney Andrew Singer was hired to oversee the comp permit process. BHA purchased 151 Oak Street, a contiguous parcel to 70 Stagecoach Road, for use in the development planning that summer. Since we are in an environmentally sensitive area, the Oak Street parcel has been placed under a conservation restriction, and thanks to the Barnstable Land Trust for agreeing to hold this restriction. So the back section here will always remain wooded as you see it today. In 2012, June, funding was awarded for the project, and in the fall, our subcontractors and general contractors were procured. Delbrook Construction is our general contractor. He was our low bidder, and they have been wonderful to work with. March 2013, a notice to proceed was issued to Delbrook, and in September of 2013, a lottery was conducted by Housing Assistance Corporation. 251 families applied for these 12 units of housing. This only highlights the fact that the need is great and the development struggles justified. November 2013, here we all are, 7 years later, and we're celebrating the creation of 12 new affordable rental units. And we're hopeful that occupancy will take place the second week of December, right in time for Christmas.
You know, I'm listening to Sandy go through everything that was here for 7 years, and I was thinking of last night's Patriots game. It sounded like going through the first part of that process was like the first half. And then when things started right at the end and you actually could get going, it was like the second half. And the important thing, I think, with that analogy is that look what happens when you can keep a good team together, pulling in the same direction for an important effort and an important reason to work together. And that's what happened here. It's not easy permitting in a lot of places. It's not easy permitting right near conservation area. And it's not easy when you look at the differences administratively with what you have to go through as people change, as it changed the home consortium, as state officials changed, as federal guidelines changed for funding that would come through the state and work that way in many instances. And an important member of the team that I've enjoyed working with the Patrick team is Aaron Gornstein, our undersecretary. He has dedicated to getting things done, and I want to thank the Patrick administration, the Housing Authority, the morphed into the Home Consortium, all the groups that were here. In Washington, about a year, sometime in the last year, there was a luncheon that surrounded a conference for the people involved in much of this in the private side. And this particular effort was mentioned as an example of a fine project, something that was done with a great result. So I'm so happy to be out here and to witness that in concrete terms what has occurred as a result of everyone partnering, seeing the goal, never losing your goal, and fighting through hurdles that you have along the way. This is important for the Cape. These type of things provide employment. They're important in terms of opportunity, and they're important to give people the chance to stay here, to live here, and to flourish here at Cape Cod. So I'm just proud of all your efforts and want to congratulate everyone.
So a lot of great things happening along with the opening of this beautiful development, and it really shows you can create affordable housing, preserve open space, as Sandy said, really address the environmental concerns, which you must do on the Cape. It takes time, but it really shows it can be well designed, it could fit into the neighborhood, and it's going to create such great housing for the people who are going to be living here. And the need is just overwhelming, as Sandy said, 240 applicants for 12 units. We need more affordable housing for seniors and working families so that people can stay on the Cape where they grew up, where they raised their families. So I hope everyone will continue to work with us to create more affordable housing. And just to finish up, I want to thank Congressman Keating for his steadfast support of the federal housing and community development programs in Congress. And
if I could, just a couple of quick words about the Home Consortium. Was founded in 1993, and it involves all 15 Cape towns, Barnstable County. And the reason it was founded is it provided us with the opportunity to access the federal home funds that Congressman Keating and Aaron spoke about. And we've, over the last almost 20 years, $13.5 million of those funds have come directly to the county. We've invested a little over $8 million of those in developments such as this. This is our 73rd development that's had home funding in it over the course of 20 years. And this is the 15th in Barnstable that we've done, and the 3rd to the Barnstable Housing Authority. I remember my very first dedication when I started the commission a little over 12 years ago was for Aunt Sarah's house in Barnstable when Tom was the director. I just started, the development was finished, so I had the easy job of coming in after everybody else did the work and to be able to be recognized. But it's really critical that these kinds of developments happen. Over 1,200 units have been funded through home funds, 1,100 of which have been rental units, which, as folks have already sent, that is desperately needed in the county.
I'd be lying if I was saying that it was just yesterday that I remember sitting down with Art Kimber and Judy Barnett and Sandy trying to talk about how we were going to use the land that we had to develop rental housing and other types of affordable housing. In fact, as you've heard tonight, it's been many yesterdays, and it's been many yesterdays since Sandy took this project on and really, brought it to fruition. So I congratulate Sandy also for all the work that she's done. And I think I have an appreciation, having sat in her seat, to know what it's like to juggle all of the different component parts to development. It's one thing to run the agency, it's a whole other thing to build the capacity to actually build projects like this. And if you want to know how complicated it is, the banking community said there were 12 that were sitting around the table. I noted on the brochure there are 8 different funding sources. It's not one-stop applications. I know when they came to see us at the town for 2 different sources of funding, we had different requirements each time. So it's a different type of set of criteria that you have to put together each time, and makes it a little more difficult. I would just urge you to continue to keep the will to build affordable housing.